So right now, let's just take a moment to be aware of everything that's going on inside of this room, okay? But we're going to do this through a scientific lens. So that means we're going to pay attention to all the biological processes that are going on inside of our bodies to keep us alive. We're also going to pretend that we can feel the gravitational force between us and the earth that's keeping us from floating off the ground. We're also going to tune into the radiation heat energy, the infrared heat energy that we're radiating out to all of our neighbors, and the infrared that they're shooting to us, which is helping us to stay relatively warm. Even the sound of my voice, I mean, it's amazing. Okay, well, the sound of my voice isn't amazing, but the way that it's actually getting from me to you, okay? So when I speak, I'm actually vibrating. I'm moving the particles in front of my face, yeah? And these vibrations are being transferred to all of the surrounding air particles. And eventually, these vibrations reach this microphone. And inside here, there's a tiny little diaphragm that's vibrating in the same way as it's getting hit by those particles. And this vibration is being transformed into an electrical signal, which is being shot out via radio waves at the speed of light. And somewhere in this room, there's a receiver that's taking those radio waves and turning them back into electrical signals, and it's getting amplified and causing these speakers over here to vibrate in the same way as this tiny little diaphragm in this microphone. And these speakers, these movements, these larger movements are causing all of the air in this room to vibrate. And eventually, these vibrations lead to your eardrums, which are vibrating in almost the same way as the tiny little diaphragm in this microphone. And these movements are then transmitted via electrical signals to your brain. And your brain processes these electrical impulses as the sound of my voice. And you have these supercomputers inside here, which are then translating the sound of my voice into words that have meaning. And I'm not exactly sure how our brains do that. I'm just a physicist. But here's the deal, right? If we were to pay attention to everything that's going on around us via a scientific lens, well, quite frankly, it might be a bit overstimulating. You know, we might get so overstimulated that we wouldn't be able to accomplish anything. We'd be so fascinated by the marvels of the universe. So what's our natural response to all this stimulation? Well, we turn it off. We ignore it, yeah? I mean, and who can blame us? And especially after a hard day's work, the last thing that the common, normal person wants to do is crack open a textbook or listen to a lecture about the marvels of the universe. No, we just want to be entertained. So what do? We turn on the television or tune into some other type of pop culture entertainment. And here's the question that I have for you. How can we bring science to the people? Yeah? How can we meet them where their heads are at, which is they want to be entertained? And how can we as scientists and artists craft messages that are both entertaining and educational at the same time? And I think the answer exists in a space that is actually kind of taboo in the world of science. You know, us scientists, we were so data-driven and truth-oriented, and we're taught to be objective, which can also make us seem so cold and impersonal and heartless. What I'm proposing is that we take the messages that we're learning from science and use them to appeal to the human condition, to affect people emotionally. So how can we use science to make people laugh or cry? To make them feel full of joy or maybe even angry? How can we use science to make people think philosophically about their place in the universe? But the trick is, of course, how do we find that balance between maintaining our scientific integrity versus watering down our messages? Because common entertainment industry practices tell us to dumb it down. Dumb it down so that you can reach a larger audience, so that you can sell more commercial space or whatever it is we're trying to do, right, with entertainment. And my response to that is enough already. Yeah. I believe that there's a true demand for real intellectualism, and it's about time that we begin to infiltrate pop culture entertainment with the messages and the paradigms that we're learning from science. Okay, so let's back up a little bit. My job is to perform poetry for people. I participate in an art form known as slam poetry. And you may have seen it in the past couple decades in movies or HBO, MTV, and Nike commercials. And even though we're a bit underground, we're still very much a part of the pop culture entertainment lexicon. And I'd like to share a piece with you guys that is one of my more recent attempts to infiltrate the world of slam poetry and therefore the world of pop culture entertainment via, with science. So here it goes. Today, I want you to think about your life. I want you to think about what you stand for and realize that all the suffering you've ever experienced means nothing in the long term. For every year you live, the universe will be around for trillions. And for every friend you've made, there are billions yet to be born that you will never meet. In the grand scheme of things, we are nobody. And yet, at the same time, we are everything. We are X and Y chromosomes. We are G, C, A, and T genomes. We are complex carbohydrates, simple proteins, soft tissue, hardwired neurons. We are strong bonds linked in nervous systems. And while this Earth's surface is covered with 65% salt water, we are walking bags made of 65% salt water, merely mimicking the environment that we evolved from. And when we are done, this flesh we call our own returns home to the sea when we dissipate, evaporate into water vapor, and these bones will be broken down by the roots of the tallest trees, while this earth, hurling through space, will freeze and boil as it has for eons as it orbits the sun, which in 5 billion years will transform into a red giant and scorch all life as we know it, its last blast before it fizzles into a whimper remembered by nobody. Or maybe charted by aliens as they peer through telescopes, logging our sun as a piece of data that came and went. And these aliens, whoever they may or may not be, I want them to think about their lives. I want you to think about your life as you study me through your primitive telescopes. And I want everybody, the aliens, you and me, to realize that even when our hearts break, or when work sucks, or when rent's due, or when someone somewhere says something stupid about you, even in the face of homicide, genocide, and suicide, in the face of racism, sexism, classism, and insert really bad word here, ism. Even when we're diagnosed with brain cancer, Amy, or when we get hit by a truck, John Frissler, no matter how bad life may get for you or for other people, zoom out. Zoom out and realize that all the evil in this world is transient. Heck, all the good in this world is transient. You, me, all of us are transient. You will not be you in the grand scheme of things, which makes all your suffering trivial, which makes your ecstasy the only thing worth remembering as part of the universe expressing itself in one giant orgasm known as the Big Bang. We are its aftermath sigh. Its alibi for not having a reason. You are the universe learning about itself. You are the universe asking itself why it's here. You will soon be the universe not learning or asking anything. You are everything and nothing at the same time, and no matter how hard it is to admit, no matter how afraid we get and how much we want to deny the truth, well, the truth is we're going to die. Maybe not tonight, tomorrow, next year, but sooner or later, we're all going to die. You're going to die, I'm going to die, you're definitely going to die, Jason Tom. You should eat more vegetables. You're still going to die, you know. All of us. But the truth is hard to swallow, and so we do everything we can to avoid the big picture, because the big picture is paralyzing, and so we focus our eyes on the day-to-day dramas of our lives. But not today. Today, I want you to think about your life right here. Not here, TEDxHONOLULU on the island of Oahu, but here, this world, planet Earth, here, this galaxy, this universe. We are not cavemen anymore. There are no saber-toothed tigers lurking in the shadows, yet most of us cling to our fears like the animals we evolved from. What are we so afraid of? We've been etching the same patterns in the same predictable places for years. Why did we live the way that they tell us to, and who the heck are they anyway? It's about time we start doing what's in our hearts, because that's all we really got. I want you to think about all the things you wish you could do. And tonight, I want you to do one of them. And tomorrow, another. Our lives are temporary art pieces. We are works in progress, so I say, paint your butt off. Use fluorescent yellows and reds in the places where there aren't any color. Dance for the moment. Sculpt your life out of soil and make the universe smile. Be the expressive process that is humanity. Today, I want you to think about your life. And tomorrow, I want you to live it. Mahalo, TEDx.